Your D&D worlds are nothing without loads and loads of interesting and diverse characters for your players to talk to, fight, and generally experience. And writing NPCs is one of the most fulfilling aspects of writing your D&D worlds. Like players, you get to decide a person's entire life story. You pick what makes them tick, their bonds, flaws, and quirks. You also get to decide their goals and aspirations, and on top of that, you also decide the power they hold along with their position in the world. And you get to decide these things for literally everyone else in the world other than your player's 4 or 5 characters. And this is one of the best parts of being a dungeon master. But don't let that power go to your head, because today we're going to be talking about what makes a good NPC, what makes a bad NPC, an NPC's importance, and how to write them. And with how to write them, I will give you a few examples that will hopefully spark some inspiration. When writing an NPC for Dungeons & Dragons, you must remember that you aren't just making a tool to complete a task. You are crafting an entire person for the party to interact with. So when you write this, treat it as a fully fleshed out person. You need to treat them with the same respect your players give to their characters, if not more. And this does not need to be to the same extent for every single NPC, but it should be done. I treat each NPC I write as I would a character that I would play, because that is exactly what it is, a character that you're playing. But I wouldn't go into the same amount of detail for a character that I am writing for a one-shot as I would for a character that I am writing for a 1 to 20 campaign. So keep that in your mind while you're writing these NPCs. A guard standing post at a bank your players are robbing doesn't really need as much detail as the mafia boss that your players are robbing the bank for. But if you have him written down as guard number 4, and for whatever reason your players want to talk to him, you're screwed. You should at least have a name and a sum up of that person, so you don't have to frantically come up with one on the spot. The makings of a properly written NPC is exactly that: a name, a backstory, and a stat block. Every NPC in your world that is somehow connected to the plot should have this at least. And these would be people like town guards, goblins, or bandits. These NPCs can often be overlooked, but once a name and a story is assigned to these characters, their lives will mean a lot more to your players. Any NPC that is going to be reoccurring or a large part of a major plot should have that, a name, backstory, and stat block, but since they're going to be around more, they should also have quirks, bonds, and flaws that round them out and make them stand out in the player's mind. These would be NPCs like faction leaders or shop owners that hold weight in the world by status alone, and are characters that the party will be talking to repeatedly and extensively. For major NPCs that are going to be recurring throughout your campaign, like a big bad evil guy or any major ally that the party will be going to for guidance, due to their innate power, like gods, kings, or all-powerful wizards, you will need everything I just stated, along with a bit of a word of warning. But before I get into that, I know that what I just said is going to be a lot of work, and it may be more than you expected, but I implore you to trust me. I have ran games and played games where NPCs that I thought of as no importance were thrown into the spotlight without warning. And having that quick backstory will save your life when your players do whatever the hell they are planning. It will make your world feel real and immerse your players to new depths of wonderment. And even if that doesn't happen, I'm going to ask you right now, what sounds more exciting to you? Okay, Michael, you finish off the first of the bandits that ambushed you. Lucas, it's your turn. Or, Michael, as your short sword slices clean through the head of the first bandit, you hear from the bush to the west a cry of sadness as a male voice yells out, "Jonathan, my love, I will avenge you!" Lucas, what do you do? I will tell you right now, even if you do everything that I just said, you are still one crucial misstep away from writing bad NPCs. Actually, You may be even more likely to write a bad NPC if you did everything I just stated. You see, putting all of that time and effort into writing an interesting character for your players to interact with will make you more likely to grow attached to these characters. And that is okay. They are your characters. You wrote them, and you should not only be proud of what you've written, but you should also love them and be excited to play them. But don't grow too attached. Once you fall too deeply in love with a character, you will likely fall into the worst trap a DM could. The dreaded DMPC. And I will tell you right now that nothing, and I mean nothing, will ruin a game faster than a DMPC. For those of you who don't know, a DMPC or Dungeon Master player character refers to an NPC that the Dungeon Master has fallen in love with. They enjoy playing them so much and want to tell their story in a way where it overshadows the players and their story that they are trying to tell. A DMPC will often be more powerful, more talented, and be given the spotlight more than the players at the table. And I think you can see how that could ruin a game. And listen, hey, DMs, I get it. I really do. If you're doing your job right, you are putting insane amounts of effort into writing these NPCs, and you want to see them get the spotlight they deserve. But this is Dungeons and Dragons. The spotlight should be on one thing and one thing only: the party. All of your NPCs should be written to tell a better story about the party. And the hardest part about being a DM is, well, at the same time you are playing a character that you have written and you love, you have to have a cold indifference to their fate. That fate is in the hands of the party, because once again, they control the story. And now, I am not saying that if your players are making a mockery of an NPC, or hell, even the big bad evil guy, those characters aren't going to butt in and share their thoughts. I actually encourage you to butt in as an NPC into character conversation if the players are deciding on something that the character has strong feelings about. What I am saying is that when it is time for your players to move on from your favorite NPC, or when it comes time for the players to even kill one of your favorite characters, you have to let it happen. Now that we understand what makes a good NPC and what can cause bad NPCs to exist, we can fully understand why so much effort should be put towards writing NPCs. And like I said before, it boils down to the fact that other than the 4 or 5 characters your players have written, every single character in your game is written and played by you. This means every conversation, fight, and interaction with a living being that your players will experience in your world is in your hands, and the quality of that experience is up to how you write. So to ensure not only player immersion, but also your own fun while playing the game, you need to write interesting characters, because players don't want to talk to Oblivion NPCs, and I am positive that you don't want to play one. So, enough talk. Let's get writing. Today, I'm going to be writing 2 NPCs for you in our hypothetical campaign setting. It's going to be a goblin bandit and a gang leader. Gordo the Clumsy. My name is Gordo. I am, 12. I have never been very popular in my tribe. One time, I spilled the fermented chicken blood meant to poison arrows onto the chief. Now, I am not allowed to sleep inside. All day, I have to stand outside the cave, and if anyone arrives, I am to light the fuse. I'm not sure what the fuse does, but that is my job, and such is the existence of Gordo. Captain Stryker. My name is Francis Freeman, but if someone calls me that, they're dead. I grew up working for my father. He was, and I say was because he's a coward who's as good as dead to me. He was an alchemist who worked his entire life to better this backwater town. He made healing remedies to help those in need, and sold only potions he saw as non-confrontational. It was bull. He could have made potions of invisibility and robbed the bank, or he could have made charming potions to win an election and run this town. And I let him know it too. I even tried making strength potions for myself to show everyone who was boss. But can you believe he kicked me out for it? Whatever. After those knights left, everything went to shit, and he bailed. So, you know who came out on top? It was me. I run this town, and no one is gonna say no to Captain Stryker again. Captain Stryker has a quirk in which he thinks a cool name goes a long way. If he finds your name to be cool or interesting in some way, he will likely almost immediately like you. But if your name is lame, he's gonna let you know it and hold disdain for you. Stryker's major flaw is his big mouth. He is cocky and arrogant, and if you get him talking, he probably won't shut up. He may even slip up and tell you his secrets to rising in power. Stryker, oddly enough, is bonded to his childhood home, the shop where his father once sold potions. Though the town is destroyed, that shop is left untouched, and to mess with it means war with Stryker. For any major NPC that would be along for the entirety of the campaign, I would write a backstory similar to Stryker's, and then just add a few more quirks, bonds, and flaws, and you'll be set. Boy, that was a long video, so I'm gonna make this short. You should subscribe, and you should also share this with other people that you know who play D&D. I am trying to help as many people as I can. Videos aren't gonna stop anytime soon, so stick around, and I hope I can make your games that much better.